Good morning, traders. Welcome to StockCast. My name is Todd Derby, along with co-host James Mason. Our goal is to bring you some insights and ideas every day in your daily trading market. Good morning, James.
Todd, good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Yourself?
I'm doing well also. All right. Let's go ahead and get into it, everybody. So, man, there was I think jobless claims was released this morning, if I'm not mistaken. I think they were a miss.
Shocker.
I know, right?
Shocker.
Anyways, I guess I should know it, but honestly, I don't care.
I saw it, but wait.
Those reports are fluff anyways. I mean,
it's actually, I got a notice on my phone right now. It says U.S. employers added close to 200,000 jobs. They were expecting 500,000.
Yeah.
So even though they added, it still was bad news because they wanted more.
All right. So what does that mean, and how does it correlate with anything in the market? It doesn't, because they're going to do whatever they want. All
True.
right.
Very true.
So let me share a chart right here. All right. So I feel like this is important to, at least during this period in time that we keep talking about the daily chart with just the market in general. So currently the Dow futures are up 32 points. S&P 500 futures are up 11.5 points. They were literally just down almost the equivalent. It's going to be a choppy Friday. I mean, well, maybe not so much chop, but like at this moment, with how those futures are kind of teetering around that zero threshold, and it being Friday, it becomes tough to find direction pre-market going into the day. Days like today, if I was day trading, which I'm not going to be day trading today because I'm all in on POAI, but days like today, if I would be day trading and how the pre-market is with the futures, these are the days that I'd take like massive losses, just because it just comes down to direction. And then if you get whipped around, it just sucks. All right, so looking at the daily chart for the S&P 500, if y'all watched yesterday and also in the past, I've been talking about how I really don't want to see this setup right here, but I mean, it is what it is. But I also, spoke about it breaking above this range, and I said yesterday, like this whole zone right here is just going to be challenging until we can actually find some direction. So really the easiest way for direction at this point, because we'd have to have a full on reversal, and we all know that our Federal Reserve is all about a full-blown bullish reversal. But with all the macro events taking place, this whole range right here in the market, it's going to be very challenging to actually get a good entry in the correct direction. So much has taken place in the market globally that just makes this really just a situation where you need to have smaller position sizes. Now, if you get a good entry and you happen to pick the correct direction, because let's be honest, I mean, you have a 50-50 chance. I mean, you really do. You have a 50-50 chance. I'm not going to lie.
Heard that before.
Yeah, you have a 50-50 chance, but y'all know how the stock market is with even if you have a 50-50 chance, I swear to God, it seems like you have more like a 5% chance of picking the correct direction if you're just trying to flip a coin here. But the reason why I'm saying this whole direction is just almost kind of like no man's land is we have so many bearish macro events that are piled on top of the market. But at the same time, we don't know what the Federal Reserve is going to do, what tricks they have up their sleeve. They can literally create stuff out of thin air, like currency. And
they have that tree in their backyard that my parents always talked about that we never had.
yeah. What do you think? Money grows on trees? Jerome Powell's like, why, yes, it does.
I have a whole orchard full.
Yeah. Yes, it does. Like, why are you questioning that? All right. So again, I still stand firm on watching the S&P 500 futures on the daily chart. If it would break above 44.85, then bullish reversal. But anything below that, especially if it gets rejected right here off of this 44.20 range, it'd have to get rejected. And I wouldn't immediately buy puts because it could just pull back down to this 86 EMA line that I literally just created for the simple fact of I just combined the 9, 50, and 200 together, and that was just average. And it actually works out pretty well. But it could come down here, bounce off that 86 EMA, and then take off up again. So me personally, what I would look at is this current value for that 86 EMA, and I keep saying 86 EMA because I'm saying put this thing on your chart. That value is 4365.8 on the S&P 500. I'd wait for it to drop below that before starting to take puts again. Once we get below that range, then it should be smooth selling back down to everybody losing their 401ks.
James, if you think we get through Christmas without this bearish moment, and we turn the corner at the first of the year, and we're heading into a election year, and the Democrats are concerned for the year, do you think the bearish movement is going to be limited because of that?
To be honest, with the way that the Federal Reserve just is, man, like I cannot give an accurate assessment on that. I mean, all this is just manipulation, and they're just using, QE to support the market. They've been using QE to support the market since the Great Recession. Now, once they taper off, if they would actually commit to it, because they've been talking about tapering off for years, if they would actually commit to tapering off, you'll start seeing some real crap happening in the market with a real drop in the market. And it would probably be a lot worse. Like, if they actually stop all their QE, we're going to see stuff worse. And they're not going to stop with QE entirely because they can't. They know better. But we would see something worse than that drop in the pandemic. So, yeah, Todd, to answer your question, I mean, I really can't answer your question just because, I mean, I would like to think that with all that bearish sentiment would just get stronger. But, I mean, just don't know.
Yeah, I just find it hard to believe that if we get after the first year that President Biden and committee aren't going to put pressure on the Federal Reserves and to make sure that we have the appearance of a stronger economy as they head into their mid-year elections.
It's definitely possible, but they're also talking about putting pressure on China again. And I do believe that the whole pressure on China tactic, one, there should be pressure on China. I do not support the Chinese government whatsoever. I have a strong issue with them. But two, thank you. Two, I believe that the whole putting pressure on the Chinese government is really just to mask what's going to probably really take place in the market with a sell-off. And, they'll just kind of like pin it on, oh, it was just this battle with the Chinese, and that's what caused the market sell-off. When it's really them doing the old switcheroo on the American citizens. So that's what I see overall for the market. So let's talk about ticker CEI.
It was real quick. Let's before we get to CEI, let's talk about POAI real quick.
Okay.
I had a couple of people reach out to me, and we want to be clear. I want to be clear, and I think James is in the same position. We purposely yesterday did not talk about it, not because we've moved on, not because our positions changed. It's just because the show became the POAI show, and James even joked about it and tagged it that one day in the YouTube listing. We're in the exact same position, but we're just beating the same horse over and over. That we're still waiting on news. We're still waiting for that catalyst, the positive news, and we thought we kind of felt like we got away from reviewing 2 or 3 tickers. So that's why we did what we did, but our position has not changed. So want you all to know that.
Yeah. And again, guys, this is a catalyst play. Like, had we been playing this off of technicals the entire time, we would have been in and out of this thing like probably 5 to 8 times by now.
True.
But if they drop the news that I feel like is probably going to happen, penny flipping is not going to matter. There'll be a lot of penny flippers who will get caught out of that trade. And, oh well, it'll suck to be them. If you guys just read that 68-page quantum analyst research report, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, you wouldn't even be worried. And I get tired of, it's not like I just like get overall tired of talking about it, but like, you know, a lot of people will keep on asking me, am I still bullish on it? And it's become a running joke. But if they would just take the time to just read that 68-page report by Quantum Research, all of your answers and all of your stresses will be put at ease.
If you read the whole report, there's even love and marriage advice in there that will solve all your problems.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's all in the document.
And, you know, and there's also a horoscope as well at the bottom. Just kidding.
All right.
All right. So let's talk about CEI. Todd, how much time do we have till the bell?
We got under 8 minutes. G-Gut, are you? Yes, you are. G-Gut 82. He's the one that has a 105 average. I hope he still has a 105 average on this.
Solid play, man. Solid play. I'll be honest. I did not see it coming up this high just because, man, they're diluting and people are selling off at the same time. But, man, talking about someone who nailed the stinking bottom for real. Great work, man. Now, don't expect it to go to the moon. Move your stop loss up because if this pulls back, man, it's okay to take profits, which I'm sure you will. You know, you're not dumb. But, man, you talking about, like, I'm happy to see that, like, you crushed this.
This traded almost 1 billion shares yesterday.
Insane. Insane. All right. So, I mean, we see this massive sell-off. And if people are trying to jump in probably today, they're going to get crushed. Now, could I be wrong? Absolutely. But just based off this daily setup right here, well, one, based off this daily setup, what has happened thus far, that's abnormal. So, man, kudos to you. But for people who are trying to jump in today at this range around 232, and there are people doing it, there will be a lot of people doing it. This setup right here screams death. At some point, there usually is like a bounce when something sells off that much. And it usually doesn't go up this high right here. But also, at some point, this is going to roll back over and continue right on down, selling off. So just be careful on CEI. If you have profits, move that stop loss up to where you can take profits at some point. Make sure it is above your average price. All right, let's talk about another one, ticker SNDL.
Popular marijuana play.
Yeah. So we can see this gap up right here, pre-market on the daily chart. This move up, be careful. Now it could be a reversal, but at the beginning of each reversal, you don't know if it's truly going to be a reversal or if it's going to be a fake out. I mean, this thing could gap up. You got to think, you have all these bag holders right here. Well, hell, all the way up through here. The difference of 8-9 cents pre-market might be convincing enough for people to stop the pain and sell off. So, this is gapped up decently on the daily chart. Just be careful. It could be a reversal. It could end up looking like the same reversal that we had in POAI on the daily chart, where we had that nice gap up and then it starts trending up after that. It possibly could do that, but there is a huge fundamental difference between a ticker at 73 cents compared to when like POAI was at like 80 cents, and that is share structure. And for instance, Predictive Oncology has a share structure of 65 million shares, while Sundial Growers has a share structure of 1.86 billion shares.
Wow.
Huge difference. It's going to take so much more money to move this. Just be careful, guys. I mean, if you have a super low average, cool, whatever, no big deal. Or if you're scaling in properly with smaller positions, no big deal. But if you're trying to, at any point, if you're just trying to like slam it with your entire account, man, it's just, you're gambling, you're rolling dice. So again, 1.86 billion shares, meaning there are hundreds of millions of shares right here of bag holders that as this keeps going up, these bag holders are going to say, I'm tired of this. And that's a lot of shares going and selling into any bullish momentum. So just be safe on that one. Let's see. What time we got, Todd?
You have 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
Gotta be quick.
One more. What we got in the comments?
Someone's asking about SDC. They've asked a couple times. Chris Birch is asking about SDC.
SDC. I won't lie. I want to see this one short squeeze so bad. All right. Let's see. All right. So obviously this technical breakout price is going to be right around this. What is that? We'll say 740 range. So breaking above those highs technically would be the technical breakout.
Technically speaking.
All right. So SDC, as far as I know, or at least they still had, last time I looked it up, had a very significant short interest on it. Hold on, let me try to pull up some data on it. All right, so SDC has 118, we'll just round it up, 118.2 million shares outstanding. So that's not bad. I haven't checked it on my data, and honestly, I like my data better, but it's in development right now. But looking just off the general internet, short percent of the float right now, and I hate going off the float. And you guys have heard my rants in other videos of why. But short percent of the float is 32.5%. So that's still pretty significant. So we need to see this break above 740. Once we break above 740, then me personally, I have another account that I'm thinking about trading. I'm trying to hold off on it just because I know I'll be tempted to dump it all into another ticker. But you guys obviously see why I have an alert right there for a reason. So I've actually been thinking about this one. I'm interested when this thing breaks above 740. and taken a pretty decent position there to ride up the squeeze. I do feel that if this thing could properly squeeze, I mean, we do have this resistance from 825 on up to about 930, but I believe if we could break above 930, we could quickly see probably 12. Now, going over 12, that might be challenging. The hedge funds who are shorting, they've gotten smarter. They're covering a lot sooner. For one, that I have noticed that. But I'm not quite sure. They're doing something else, and I haven't quite figured it out yet because obviously there's so many different tickers. But yeah, they're doing something to be able to quickly get out of their short positions that they're so heavy in without it really offsetting anything in those tickers. And it's not something basic that we, already know as being common that they would do in the market. They create the system. There's another loophole that I don't think has really been figured out yet. So, all right, we ran over. We're gonna go ahead and wrap it up right there. So we appreciate everybody tuning in today. Thank you guys all for tuning in. Thank you for the likes. Let's see. Let me run through one more time. Johnny, thank you for the tip. Let's see. Oh, Brian Lashford, thank you. I'm pretty sure it was yesterday. I saw that you put a tip. It didn't pop up until after the show, so thank you for that. All right, everyone. So we're going to wrap it up right there. We appreciate y'all tuning in. So remember, trade safe, trade smart. It's Friday, and you don't want to get beat up on a Friday and screw up your weekend. And predictive oncology better not screw up my weekend.
Have a good weekend, everyone.
All right, everybody, take care. We'll catch you later.